happening all. Cool day today. So we're going to actually work with some VAs today, get them trained up on how to pull data, price markets, and just go over land vision, go over how we're pulling data from Redfin, how we're doing all those kinds of fun things. So I got them in the back right now, and we're going to bring them up in a minute. First thing, I just want you guys to check out the 5 steps to multiple six figures business. This is something training that Sumner put together. Definitely worth checking out. It's a quick 30-minute video. Just go ahead and copy that link, check it out. Goes over all the little ins and outs of starting your land business and everything like that. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. Cool. So what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on exactly what I said. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get inside land vision. We're going to go ahead and pick a couple markets. We actually already identified a few markets that we like. So we're going to skip the whole like market selection and market selection tool today. And we're just going to focus on actually pulling the data and all that stuff. So let's get going. What's up, Noah? How we doing, man? All right, cool. So we're going to add, so Jeff here is working with me on doing a couple markets. We're gonna work on a couple markets together, and then we're both training our VAs. So we have Jay-Z here, and then is MJ coming too, Jeff?
Yeah, she's on her way. She's running a couple minutes behind.
Cool, no worries. All right, so we'll hang out for a few minutes while we wait for MJ to get in. So basically, should be a pretty easy day today. As far as like, this stuff, it's not too mind-boggling. It's pretty simple. It's definitely going to be great. If you guys don't know who Jeff is, Jeff Smith, it's awesome. I've been working with Jeff for a while in another group we were in, and he's been doing land longer than I have, entitlements and stuff like that out in Texas. And now he's getting into the whole land flipping model as well, which is, you basically did that, but just with infill lots, right?
Yeah, we were primarily flipping infill vacant lots to single family builders. So this is a different animal with vacant recreational land that you just flip without entitling, without development stuff. It's just buy it cheap and sell it back on the market.
Awesome. So Jay-Z, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell me a little bit about you. Just curious what your involvement has been in land lately.
Well, I've been with Jeff for roughly about 3 years now, working under Jeff. Well, first, I was tasked to do cold calling, and then switch to texting, and then cold calling. Basically, anything that Jeff needs or the team needs, that's where I will be. And we correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff. The sequence that we had, like house flipping, and then land, and then vacant, and then house flipping, right?
Yeah, we kind of went full circle. So the entitlements, we put that on ice because of the interest rates and the bonds. It's actually starting to come back a little bit, but yeah, it's funny enough. We've come back around to wholesaling houses, and Jay-Z has always excelled at being very versatile, doing different things, and being organized. So I think this actually is a pretty good fit for him to learn too.
Yeah. And you also have a pretty prestigious rap career too. You have all this albums. So no, awesome.
Yeah, he never gets that on the phone when he was calling, right, Jay-Z? You're getting you played it up so good.
I didn't know.
I love it. Awesome. All right. So while we're waiting, I'm just going to start with so we already picked a few counties, and I'll just do this real quick so we can check this out. So these are a few counties that we're going to work on: Washington County, Florida; Davie County, North Carolina; Duplin, Cassville, and Gilchrist, Florida. So we already pulled and priced and mailed this county. So we're going to work on these 4 right now. So while we're waiting, the first step I'm going to do is just check for homogeneous pricing. A couple different ways we could do it. We're actually going to do this with Redfin and Pebble's Pricer tool, which is actually really awesome. I don't know if you guys have not used it. It's awesome. It's a free Chrome plugin. So what we're going to do here, we'll go to Washington County. Now, we've already checked for demand in these areas. We track the sell-through rates and all that stuff, and these counties are awesome. And for you, Jay-Z, and for MJ, you guys aren't going to have to worry about picking the counties that we're going to go in for now, right? For now, that's our job. We're going to pick the counties, find out the homogeneous pricing, and then basically say, hey, this is good, go do your thing. So that this way, there's not a lot of like, you don't have to also figure that end of the spectrum out too. That's our high level thing that we have to do. So now you just get to do the other stuff, the stuff that you don't have to go too crazy on, you know. So Washington County, Florida, what we're going to do is I'm checking for something called homogeneous pricing. Basically what that is I want to look at a specific category of like lots, like 5 to 10 acres, and see if they're trading at a price per acre that's pretty relatively the same. So I'll go into land, I'll go land, Redfin, I go sold in the last 1 year. I'm going to go right here. We'll do 5 acres to 10 acres. And I want to see, so there's 45 homes sold. Now, just real quick, without even like digging into anything, this already looks pretty good. And the reason why I say that is I look at this already and I see 60,000, 52,000, 80,000. I go across the county, I see almost the same pricings. 42,000, 45,000, 55,000. I go to the bottom of the county, 50,000, 65, 60,000. They all look about the same. Go to the top, 50,000, 39,000, whatever. While they're off by a couple $1,000s, I don't see 60,000 here and 250,000 here, right? That'd be like a red flag. All right, something's going on this side of the county, but this side of the county is fine. So it just kind of gives you that quick red flag. So already it tells me this is a pretty good county. Now, Jeff, I don't think I showed you this either yet, but this is Pebble's Pricer tool. So check this out. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to sort these by lot size. So now all the properties here are sorted by lot size, anything that's recently sold. Now I click the little plugin. I click this. Now I hit save all. Check this out. Here's all the median price, the average price, the median price per acre, and the average price per acre. And now I just scroll through this and I look for any outliers and I could just delete them right off the bat and just get like, why is this one selling for $6 million? So obviously something's wrong there. So I'll just delete that guy. And this is like high level quick view of like figuring out a county if this is good. So I look at this and I'm like, okay, cool. Like everything's trading pretty close to 7,000 an acre on average, which is really good. You know, you see 10s for 7, 10 for 40, so it's 4,000. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. And then I'll go through, okay, this is a 26 for 6. It's an outlier.
That is a really neat plugin.
Yeah, and Jeff, I looked it up for houses too. It works. You could go and take the same plugin. It basically does the exact same thing in a similar sense. So you could, it's not perfect for houses, but kind of works. You can pull your comps real quick.
Yeah.
So
I certainly like the concept, and definitely for land where we're looking for things that are homogeneous and we're not doing, you know, things like bed and bath count. It's just acres, and we can line that out. This is a very nice tool.
Yeah. So it just gives you a good idea too when you're looking at through this and you're like, let me just see what stuff is trading at. And now here's the coolest thing. So this saves. That's all. Yeah, Pebble is amazing. There's like certain little things that I didn't even know existed till like 2 weeks ago. So we already know that we could pull the data from Redfin, right? That's easy. But now here's the coolest part. I'll go to Zillow and I'll do the exact same thing. That was Washington. Sorry. Washington County L. Okay. Sometimes there's sold data on here that we don't get on Redfin. So we could go through this and we'll put the exact same parameters. We'll do lot size 5 to 10. And then we'll do, I gotta go select land only, sold in the last year. Home type, deselect all, lots and lands, apply. All right, so now you can see there's 36 results. So I'm going to do the same thing, sort by lot size. See, they sort high to low. Damn you. Oh, no, actually, I'm sorry. So does the other one. All right. So now I go back into here. Now I already have all the ones from Redfin, but now I could just hit save these again. You're going to get some duplicates, and you could always like delete them if you wanted. Like I said, this is not where you're going to price from, but this gives you a good idea. If when you go back, I'll show you when this is really important, when you're going back and checking your pricing. And then we'll check land.com. Any word on, oh, MJ's here. This MJ? Hey, MJ.
So that's CJ
Oh,
actually.
CJ?
CJ, yeah.
There you go. I
only
just
hire-
saw the J.
Yeah, I only hire virtual assistants if they have a J in their name, and it can only be 2 letters. It's the general policy.
2 letters.
Everybody calls me DJ, so that works, right?
We're there.
So weird. All right, cool. So I'm going to do the same thing for land.com. Washington County, Florida. Now, land.com, same thing. You're going to have a totally different type of properties being sold and all that. So I'm going to go includes residents. No. I'm going to hit solds. Get rid of all that. Acres, 5 to 10. Cool. So there's 22 listings on here. And we'll go sort by large, small. All right. And then we'll go here. Pebble. Save all. Cool. Now, if you look, there's someone that's an outlier here, 200,000, which is throwing the numbers off. You got a 23. See, these 110s are going to go because they're throwing the numbers off. 90 is going to go. Cool. Delete the 20s.
All right, Dennis, sorry to butt in, but
No.
this attachment, Pebble, is it saving every search result that you had from Redfin to Zillow to land.com?
Yeah, see, look, Redfin right here.
Okay.
It has them all right on the left. It says Redfin, it says Zillow now, and then it says land.com.
Cool.
So all it does is just take everything that's on the screen. So if you have like 70, 80 properties, you have to like go to the next page, hit save all again, and it'll save all the stuff on that next page. All this is doing is just giving you like a quick overview of the market and seeing if it's homogenous. This is not like how you're going to price your market. But what I do this for is I do this. And then later on, when we go to pull the data from Redfin and price it out, I'll double check and see like, am I in the right range, right? Between these 3 platforms, it's saying it's about 7,000 per acre. If I'm getting a range of like 15,000, something's wrong on my end, right? It's just a way to back check yourself. So This is going to be important for later on, and I'll show you that. I don't want to get too in the weeds. I'm just kind of doing this right now just to wait for MJ to get in here.
Okay.
Is this is the plugin for Reddit or land list under integration stuff? I don't remember if it's in integrations or where exactly it is. Okay. I don't know exactly where it is. If you go into their tools or something like that, and I believe I'll find the link and I'll drop it in there, Mark. I'll drop it in Leah for everybody to see. Jeff, do you want me to just get started and then she could always just watch the beginning of this?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get going.
Cool. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we already know Washington County is good. We like it. We like that it's pretty homogenous. I would also, this is the same thing. This is something that me and Jeff would be doing is double checking to see if we like the market first. So I'll check the 5 to 10s. I'll check the 10 to 20s, all that stuff. Then I'll look at it. Okay, is this homogenous? Looks pretty close. So we give the approval for the market. Okay. So then you guys, you would have a sheet and we would say, hey, these are the markets you're going to pull. Okay, cool. So we go over here, we hop into Land Vision, log in, click here. So Land Vision is our data aggregator. This is where we pull all our data from. We used to use Data Tree and we still kind of use it sometimes, but not always. But for the most part, Land Vision we like because we could pull all the data we want. We could use, there's tons of overlays, there's builder overlays, there's tons of stuff. So that's why we like it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the county. So I'm going to type up here, Washington County. And I'm still not a pro at this, so I will not lie. Washington. Spelled something wrong here. Let's see. County FL.
So we used to use a system called GeoThink. So JZCJ, you'll probably recognize a lot of similarities, except we were restricted to a single state in our subscription.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty similar. It's just this is more broadband. You can do every county. All right, so you can see the county outlines are right here. They're in orange. So you just click that. Once you click that, that's selecting the whole county. See how that turned green now that I selected it? And then I'm going to go ahead. Oh, wait, let's see. Hey, MJ.
Hey,
How's it going?
good, good.
Awesome.
Sorry about that. I thought it's 1:30.
No good. All good. Just getting started. All good. So yeah, this is Land Vision, just showing you, starting to how to pull data and stuff like that. So basically, so we type in the county comes up. You click this, you zoom out, click the screen. It's going to highlight it green. And then we're going to hit search area. Okay. And you hit OK. You don't need a buffer or anything like that. So now it's going to have a little check mark that says included area. Now, the next thing we're going to do is I want to go into here. I want to look for vacant residential, agricultural, and vacant land. These should already always be selected. So you shouldn't have to worry about like selecting new things or deselecting anything. It should just be there. Okay. Then characteristics. So we're looking for a lot size between 4.75 and 101. The reason why we do 4.75 is like a 4.75 acre property is the same as a 5 acre property. If I say just 5 acres, I'm going to probably miss out on like, 600 properties, right? And it's the same thing for why we go to 101 and not 100. 101 is basically the same size. And we've noticed actually like a lot of our data, we typically send mail to like the 5 to 60 acre max, right? Because that's on a blind offer. That's really the only ones we're getting responses from. Anything above 60 acres, they're typically not responding to us on a blind offer. So we usually like pull the data, put it in a separate file, just leave it there. We don't really mess with it. It kind of lives there. And if we ever want to go and, pull a separate mailer and send it out to them, we can. That would be like more of a neutral offer, a range offer, whatever the case may be. But typically we're going to price just like the 4.75 to 60 acre range and kind of mail that. So we do 4.75 to 101. I don't really care about last market sale. I don't do any of that stuff because what if somebody just inherited their property? What if, they bought it from their dad for $100 last week. And now they're like, dude, I want to cash in and sell this thing for 60K. Like, yeah, let's do it. How would I know if they want to do that if I don't pull that data, right? So we don't bother with the last market sale. Ownership is one of the ones I do look at. I look at owner occupied and no. I don't want somebody living on the land that owns it, right? If Joe Schmo lives on the land, probably not going to sell to us. So why would I waste my marketing dollars selling to Joe Schmo? So ownership, like I said, this should all automatically click up, but I'm just showing you anyways. You want to make sure you're checking all these boxes. Ownership details, ownership occupied, no. Okay. And then you hit apply filter. Just give it a second. It's running on, I don't know, a lot of what's bigger than a terabit, the next level. It's running on that size of amount of data it's processing right now. So, all right.
So Dennis, what's interesting, I think you used to have it where the ownership had been at least a few years. So you've gotten away from that at this point.
So I never did that. I think somebody selected it at some point and then it just kind of automatically went to it. I think maybe Rob might have been playing with it one day and selected that, but whatever the case may be. But yeah, I don't like deselecting anybody who recently bought it, right? Because it's not like a house where, well, actually, if you're going for sub twos, you want that. But yeah, if you're going for like a cash sale, you kind of want like the 5 years of ownership or more or whatever. This is like, yeah, they could have just inherited it yesterday and they just want to sell. So I just mark it to them. So you can see I hit apply filter. When this goes gray, it means anything you recently selected is already added. But if I were to go and like click this, it would turn blue, which means I could apply filter again. Now I'll click this back on, apply filter, and you can see it'll go back and redo it again, redo the whole search again. And then see now it turns gray again because I can't, all the filters are already applied. I can't apply it again. So next step would be you could hit add to list right here. And what that's going to do is just create a list on the bottom of the screen right here. Just give it a second.
So Jay-Z and MJ, that this is a task that you'll primarily be concentrating on is pulling data in addition to the pricing. CJ, the reason I want you to see this is so you can see kind of what this looks like from a bird's eye view of where things are, what they look like, kind of what we're selecting. So by the time the calls start coming into you, you'll understand this is how we've selected things, and that's the nature of who's calling.
Yeah, so for anybody that's here just watching this and stuff, so MJ and Jay-Z are doing more of the data side of everything. CJ is doing more of the acquisition side of things. So it's good to cross-train everybody so everybody kind of understands where we're coming from with everything. So right now you can see a lot of numbers, and this just gets crazy. So what I do is just click this button. It takes all the numbers off the screen. So once it's added to a list, it turns blue. Okay. Now, this is like, okay, some people, this is all they're going to do. They're going to just pull this data right now, go price it, mail it, right? One thing we like to do if we have the time is go through and do this. And I'm just going to show it to you for today. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go through and actually like filter all this data out today. I'm just going to show you real quick what we're doing. Or actually, I'll actually go back and do that another day too. What we could do as well is like, see how there's this big floodplain right here and right here? Let's do this. We're going to draw a line real quick. So we're going to do an exclude area. We're going to add a line. And we're going to go down like this. And what's this is going to do is basically we're going to send a buffer zone and say, I don't want any properties that are in this line within X amount of feet of this line. Nope. I double clicked already. So we'll do a buffer line. We'll do 100 feet. Hit OK. So anything that's in that line, it will not include. And then I'll do the same thing here. See, anything that's like a big flood zone or anything like that, I kind of want to already just take those out of the lot. I don't even want them in the mix. So let's do add line.
So Jay-Z, MJ, remember how we did viability checking? Like, why bother calling someone with the land wouldn't have been qualified? That's what we're doing on a bulk scale here. Instead of sucking it all into our system, we're going to take kind of the obvious stuff out now, and then you'll see Dennis zoom in and get a little more detailed with it, and that's what we need to do.
Exactly. You can see anything that's, I have the flood zones and wetlands on right now. So that's why like you see these like blue overlays and stuff. So all these areas, now they could technically be viable, but in the interest of saving a couple bucks, we're just going to remove them. Okay, so I think that's good. So I draw the line, I double click, and I'll name this flood 2. We'll do 100 foot, 100 feet buffer, hit OK. And then we'll go, see how it's blue right now? So now I'll keep going. There's a couple other areas that are flood zones. We'll go click exclude area, add line, and then we'll just kind of go boom, boom. This little area here. This all looks like a flood zone. So I'm just gonna, that looks fine. That's good. So we'll do flood free.
So Dennis, we're getting rid of properties that are in the flood zone, and it sounded like you also wanted to exclude wetlands.
Floods, wetlands, yeah, because in Florida it's pretty common. So, I mean, if it's like a property that is like all wetlands or all flood, you don't want it. If it has like a little section on it, it's okay. But something like this, where it's like, you look at this parcel right here, that's 100% flood zone. What are you going to really do with that? You know? So we try to eliminate those. So we do another one, add another line, go here.
And that's probably because even if it was somebody who's interested in selling, it's not homogenous with the bulk of the land anyway, and its land is its usage is severely limited.
Exactly. That's the best way to really put it. It would just skew your pricing, because now when you go to mail that property out, you'd probably be like 10% of what we're offering because it's in a flood zone or it's a bad property. So you're just kind of wasting mail at that point.
Yeah.
So we'll go up here, a couple properties up here, and just double click. I'm not going to go through and do them all, but at least if I could get the major ones out, like 4. Okay. Now, those are my exclusionary zones, and I could go through the same thing, like in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through them all. All right, so good. So now we got that. So I zoom out, I hit apply filter. It's running its thing. So sometimes if see how it's like frozen like this, it's not doing anything. Sometimes you just need to jumpstart the old engine and zoom in for a second and then zoom back out. It's got like a thing where it's like, I don't know if it's working. And then it just like starts working. So you just zoom in, zoom out, and it'll, let me try again. It's just running through so much data that it kind of gets stuck for a second.
Right.
Cool. So now what I'm going to do is, yeah, that's right. So I got to delete this list. Move list. Okay, so let me run. I'm going to redo this. I got to just run this filter again. Let's see. Okay, apply filter. I forgot you have to delete the list because they're not going to remove a property that's already on there. All right, so now see it's 3,271. So now I hit add to list again. And all the ones that are within that 100-foot buffer zone, for the most part, should be removed. You could still see some, but it might just be outside of the 100-foot zone. So like, if I really wanted to be technical, I could go in there and say, okay, this one's a 300-foot zone, and this one's a 50-foot zone, whatever. Okay, so that's how like I bulk get the data. And then what I want to do, and this is something that we'll be doing on the inside of us, but for now, I'm not going to do it fully. So if you go through all these properties, see how they're on this list, they're blue. I click this. It pulls up right here. This is in a flood zone. So I'm going to go hit remove filter, remove from list. Hit remove from list. And we're basically scrubbing out any of the bad properties.
Yeah.
This one right here.
So JZ, MJ, Dennis is basically like, we're going to get out the obvious ones, which is the flood zone. And then you all know from our development days when land's like right next to a major house development, that's not what we're looking for here. That's not what we're looking for in this business venture. That's the other one. So we'll take those out that are near like towns where you see them growing, take out the flood zones, take out the wetlands. And then after that, once we've done the bulk stuff, what Dennis is doing is now the labor of love, which is to go in and like, let's just fly over this thing, do all of these parcels, have road access. Could someone actually use it?
So I deselected a few. They're still blue on the map because they're in my list. But if I scroll to this, if I click this, see how it's gray on here? So I'm going to click this button, the little hamburger over here, and I refresh list, and they should be removed. Just give it a second. See how they're green now because they've been removed. If it's blue, it's in our list. All right. So that's basically how we'd go ahead and pull this data. Now, the labor is really going to go through, and you're going to go through these properties. You're going to zoom in. You're going to take a look at stuff and you're going to say, okay, this is in a flood zone. It also doesn't look like it has access. I'm going to delete that one. Okay. Because it's got no easement, no access. We don't want it. So you would select these properties and delete them out. And then, just kind of go through all that stuff. It's going to take time, and it is what it is. But that saves us dollars later on. So that's what we're going to do for that. So now that we have, let's say we just did this whole list, we went through everything, we scrubbed all the data out, we're happy, good to go. We click over here, and now we're going to go ahead and export to CSV. Cool. Here's our file. Let's open this. So we're going to open this up with Excel. All right. So here we have one thing I'm just going to double check, because sometimes what happens is with Excel and stuff like that, if it has a leading zero, you guys probably know this. If it has a leading zero, it deletes them. So what I do is I'll always double check like these properties, and I'll check this list here, and I'll make sure like these APNs, they don't have any leading zeros, because if they do, I got to go back in and just add that back in. So make sure, I'm just going to like scroll through quickly, not really like lead in too deeply, because later on we're going to double check on everything too.
Do you guys understand what Dennis means by the leading zeros and the APN number?
Yeah, see right here? See how this has a leading 0631001? So I can almost guarantee this property right here was deleted. Well, it's not deleted, it's just, it doesn't have a zero on it. So this is, let's go 694. Should be pretty close. Yep. So 62800, yeah. See how they remove the leading zeros? So what I'll have to do is I'm going to find, so how many numbers is this? 1, 2, 3. Let's find an easier one to read. It's this plus 1, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 8. So I'm going to select this. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how to do this because I always forget. This is going. It's conditional formatting, right? Conditional formatting. No. Format.
So
I always forget this part. Yeah. Do
go
you
to
remember?
center where it says general, and you're going to select it as text.
That's what it is. More. No, you have to go custom and then general 0 and then do 8 zeros. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is like the total number of spaces. It should be 8. So it's going to look at that and then say everything that doesn't have 8, add a 0 before it. See how now these all have 0? 0, 6, 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2. So now it's got 8 numbers in front of it. And anything that's already has more than 8 numbers just ignores it. So we should be able to look these up now, take this APN, look it up, and it'll come up no problem. So let's go back. I just want to check all the way up top and see if this makes sense. Yeah, see a bunch of these have leading zeros too. See 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 9. This is number 15. So 15, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 9. Yep. So there you go. That fixed that. Cool. So that's step 1, just to make sure our APNs are good. All right, now let's open these up. Here's our properties. Now, if you noticed, we didn't scrub anything out that's like duplicate owners or anything like that. I didn't want to do that yet. Now, I just wanted to pull all the data, get it on a sheet. Now I'll scrub it out myself. So, that was the other thing I should have mentioned. I did not show you this, but we already have our parameters right here are already set up. And this is the format that we want them in, so that when we go to send this to our mailhouse and upload it to Pebble and all that stuff, it's already in our table format that we want. There's only like a couple things that we have to add and change. So you don't even have to touch this. If you did wanted to add something, you can. You would just go through here and add a little checkbox, and it'll add any other, any other piece of that data you can. There's a total of, max 80 fields. So, okay, go back here. So next thing I'm going to look for is I am looking for aggregated lots, aggregated lot count. So what I don't typically mail something that has more than X amount of lots, right? If somebody owns more than 3 lots, then I'm not going to mail them on this type of mailer, a blind offer, because they're probably an investor. They probably are, like wiser. They'll know how to sell their property and work with realtors and all that stuff. So it's kind of a waste of money, especially somebody who owns 4,432 lots. I don't have to work with them. I'm not going to work with them, right? So I'm going to take these and separate them into a different sheet. So I go here and I'm going to go scroll all the way down. See how this is going down? 8, 7, 5, 6, 5, 4. Okay. We'll stop at 3. Anything above 3, we're just going to take this out. I'm going to go Command C, copy them. I'm going to just throw them on this sheet. And I'm going to call this, rename, more than 3. Okay. Goes back here. Now just deselect that header, and I'm going to delete these properties out. Could delete them because they're already in another sheet. Okay. So they're all over here. So that's that. So now I know how many owners have more than 3 lots and whatever the case may be. Got rid of that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I want to see like anybody that's Bay County Conservatory, like anything that's like Conservatory, state of Florida, all that stuff, those names. I usually just get rid of them. So let's go A to Z. I'm just going to kind of look at this. Like if we mail to 1, it's not a big deal, but I kind of just like go through this real quick and just like anything that catches my eye, I'll delete it. So Bay County, County, Conservatory. Yeah, just delete all these. And I do that before I scrub out my duplicates, because if I see like 20 South Carolina or 20 North Carolina, whatever it is, it's like a big red flag to me. But if after I do the duplicates, if I only see 1, I might miss it. So I just kind of take a look. Bishop of the Dochis. This is probably like a church, so I'll remove this. Okay, let's see. So a lot of the names that are going to come up are like the county name that you're in or state of Florida. So this is Washington County, so most of the stuff will be at the bottom. If it's like EPA or conservatory, whatever, you'll see all that. Department of Land, yeah, see. Deer Point Cove and Land Company. I'll just delete these. I could look up who they are and all that stuff, but most likely they're a corporation. They're probably not going to sell. Deltona Corp. This could be like waterways, taxways, stuff like that. A lot of times too, counties will buy out land in flood zones or really bad areas. And they'll own it and nobody else can buy it. So we scrub those out. Anything that says like energy or whatever, see via Timber Growth, Florida. These guys are timber growers. They're not going to sell to us. If anything, this would be a good person to know and save for later and sell them land. Okay. Four Hills, Highlands, Woodlawn. And a lot of these could also be HOAs. We typically look for like mom and pop, somebody who just kind of inherited something, whatever. That's our typical seller. So now just remember, we started with like what, 3,400, around that. And we're going to whittle this list down probably to like 1,000 pieces. All right, love it. Marquis, McFarler, okay, Miller. Not available. All these are going to go. Cool. Sunny Hills. See, this is a utility company. They're obviously not going to sell to us.
So CJ, this is important for you to know because we're scrubbing out these HOAs, these big entities. So like the people you're going to be talking to just have, one or two parcels. They're not going to have a slew of them. And JZMJ, obviously, if we don't scrub them out, CJ is going to be fielding calls from, all these massive companies, and we're just not going to be doing deals with them. So that's why it's so important we put in all this work on the front end.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, sometimes if I didn't see like something that said Florida or something, I'll just search in here. Within options. Find all. That's probably going to find a lot. I didn't really qualify. Yeah, Northeast water flow. Okay. Florida water. See, it's got a few more here. Delete these. Cool. Okay, so I deleted all those now, and now what I'm going to do too. Let's go back up here. I want to just lock this top row. View, freeze top row. Okay, I'm going to sort real quick. High to low. Sort smallest to largest. Perfect. Okay, now next most important thing is we're going to go into data. And we're going to click this little button for duplicates. See how it's selected the whole sheet? My list has headers. Deselect that. And you just hit by mail address. Because if you go by name or whatever, or parcel, whatever, it might not find everything. Just do by mailing address. So that person's only getting one piece of mail. So mail address, 488 duplicates have been found. Perfect. So they all got scrubbed out. Now we're left with 2,000 properties. So here we got 4.786 all the way. You can see it's all organized in here. I'll scroll all the way down. Cool. Now we have up to 100. So like I said before, we're probably going to only mail up to 60 acres. So I'm going to take out anything that's above that 60 acre mark and just put it in a separate sheet. So we're going to click here. And I'm going to scroll up till I hit about 60 acres. I might do a couple, like, if I see a lot of them that are 60 acres, I'm not going to stop at like 59.99. I might pull in a few of the 60s, but kind of like you have to have some kind of a rule. So let's just stop it right here. So we'll hit this and this, copy. I'm going to just go here, create another sheet, and then we're going to rename this to more than 60 acres. Okay. So now I take this. Cool. Delete this. All right. So now we're at 1,915 properties. It's a pretty big mailing set. I will then next go through here. I'm going to select this mailing address. And I'm going to sort by this. I'm going to do A to Z. And I'm going to go through here. And anything that doesn't have a mailing address, I'm going to delete. Because all that's going to do, if I don't have a mailing address, guess what? I can't mail it. So why bother even sending it to a mail house if it's a junk piece of mail? Oh, actually, that's pretty good. It's only one out of this whole data set. Great. Okay. So that is the data pulling side. Now, you see how we did all that? We pulled all the data. We have everything ready to go. The next step would be the pricing side of things. You guys have any questions on that whole side of it? I know it's something you'll have to practice on and all that, but
it's something we'll practice. We'll get better at it over time as we kind of get the technique of excluding properties. And then,
yes,
like we said, guys, it's, unfortunately, it's some of it is just a matter of brute force over time and taking your time with it. Like, don't rush it. Take your time. Exclude the ones that aren't viable, and set ourselves up good.
Exactly. Because we don't want to get offers for properties that are like, send out an offer on a property that's a total. Actually, it's funny. We have one. We mailed it, and it's a 21-acre property, and we're like, this is awesome. It's going to be a great lead. We look at it. It's an entire pond. So it's like, cool. So I can't do anything with it, but I'm going to own a pond, right? So I talked to the buyer. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's great. It's got boat slips, do all this stuff. I'm like, right, but there's no land. He's like, well, no, there's no land, but on one section there's the boat slips, and you could charge money for that. I'm like, okay, so basically we're buying a pond, and yeah, so this isn't going to work out. So that's why it's like important to kind of exclude that stuff, so you're not sending out bad offers. All right, so for now, what we're going to do is rename this 4.7 to 60 acres. Okay. We're going to do file, save as. Now you can't save this as a CSV because it's a it's got multiple sheets, so it's not going to let me save it as a CSV. Whatever. So we'll call this Washington County FL. I save these all to my Dropbox. Cash land list, and then I go FL, and then I'll go new folder, and I'll call this Washington County FL create. Cool. Save. Okay, exactly what I told you was going to happen because I didn't hit the right button. Save as an XLS. I'm just saving this so I don't delete anything. Cool, that's saved. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up Redfin. Now, if you don't know, you could pull all your sold data, any list, sold or for sale data from Redfin. If you scroll right down here at the bottom of this sheet, you could hit download all, and you can pull all the data. Jeff, that's good if you're doing direct to seller marketing or realtor outreach. You could go here and put like, so for sale in the last whatever, and stuff that hasn't sold or whatever, or stuff that's sold in the last year that's on the market now. You could like pull those two lists, scrub them together, and say, okay, this guy just bought last year and he's already on the market. That's a sub 2 transaction all day. And then just go and like look at those two, call that realtor and offer him sub 2. It's like completely free data. So I'm going to pull all the acreage sizes, 5 to 100. Sold within 1 year, land only. There you go. So we have sold, land, 1 year, 5 to 100. And I'll hit C, 78 homes. So there's 78 total comps. What we typically look for when we're trying to price mailers is we want to see like 50 comps. If there's less than that, I'm going to have to like look around, check land.com, check Zillow, check all these other sources, and find any other properties that aren't on here. And then I'm going to have to manually add them, which is a pain in the butt. But if you're really trying to get good data on pricing, that's kind of what you have to do. So we're good here because we have 78. So we'll go scroll down. We download all. Go open this in Finder, and we go open with Excel. Now, what I'm just doing, I'm going to copy this and just put it all in this same exact things, this same workbook, so that I'm not clicking over in 1,000 places. Okay, and I'm just going to call this rename sold data. Okay, cool. So now And guys, JZ, MJ, everybody, we already have looms for all this created in our SOPs. So you'll be able to watch all this stuff and see it again. Just showing you right now, like full run of the mill, like how do I do this? But you'll have the looms. You could go back and double check everything. 50 total comps for your acreage size. So yeah, it's important to get 50 total comps for your acreage size. But like if I'm pricing a whole county, I just want to know like 50 comps in that market, in that area. I would say, or total land in the county should be over 50 comps. Yes, that's the best way to put it. Yes. So when this comes out, it's going to have beds and baths. Now I know we only pulled land, but it doesn't know that. It's just pulling whatever. So I'm going to change beds to acres. And I'm going to change baths to price per acre. PPA, price per acre. And then what I do, you could see right here, all this stuff. I'm going to just delete these rows because I don't need them. This looks like is a year built. It was 1970. That tells me there's a house on it. So I'm going to delete that. All these are single families. Sorry, I'm just reading a note. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to go through, and what you don't see here is when you pull Redfin data, it doesn't show the acres. It just shows square feet. So what I have to do now is just convert this to acres. So I go equals this number divided by 4,300,560. 43,560. That's how many square feet are in 1 acre. I hit equal, and then I'll hit equals this price divided by this acreage, and I get price per acre. I'll turn these two into money. Okay. Now I'm just going to drag this through the whole sheet. Okay. Boom. There we go. I'm just going to reduce some of these decimal places. I don't need it to be that big. Let's just turn this. Cool. All right. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff here. Year built, HOA, all that stuff. I don't need any of that. I will keep the URL, and I'm going to delete everything else. Alrighty. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Just cleaning it up because I just don't need all that data in front of me. It's fine. I just need these numbers right here. Okay. Next I'm going to do is sort smallest to largest. All right, cool. So now we have all our acreage ranges all sorted. This is all our sold data. And now I could see my price per acre right here and just kind of get a gist for the market. Now I see some outliers, and that tells me, okay, those are probably going to have to get deleted. So next I'm going to hit insert a column. I'm going to call this averages. All right. So what I do now is I'm going to go through this, and usually we price markets for an average of like 5 acres to 10 acres is one price point, price per acre. And then we go for our next one, which is like 10 to 15 is the next, kind of block of pricing, 15 to 20, and so on, right? So what I want to do is kind of go through this list, and I'm going to get an average for the acreage range, 5 to 10, and then I'll do an average for the 10 to 20, whatever. So we'll do equals average, click here, and then I'm going to do, click this, and then click all the way down to 9.9. That gets my average. I'm going to click equals average. And let's do I don't have many comp like above 15 acres. So I'll just go as close to 20 as I can and just include it. And then I'll go equals average to the 20 to 30. And then equals average 32. It looks like there's not much in the 30 range. So actually what I might do is I'll say, okay, let's just do 20 to 40. has the same average. So bring this down to here. There you go. And then I'll do equals average. It seems like this market is an extremely easy market to price. So I got 40 down to 75s. Now we actually don't need to go any further because we're not mailing anything above 60 acres. So I'll just delete all these. All right. So what we're looking for is one, are we close to that number that we got in Pebble? If we're pretty close to it, that's a good sign. And then two, are we looking at like a cascade effect with our numbers? So our averages should go like 8,500 down a little bit to like 7,500, down a little bit to like 6,000, down a little bit to 4,000, right? That's kind of what it should do. Now, if you're not seeing that, well, there's probably some outliers, right? So let's start from the beginning. And we're going to kind of go through these and take a look at a couple of these properties. Now, we save the URLs over here for a reason. So we're going to look at this. Okay, why is this property right here a 5-acre parcel selling for $3,000 an acre when other ones are selling for $8,000, $7,000 an acre, right? Let's take a look. Already off the bat, I could see this is probably a landlocked parcel. You probably can't do much with it because there's no like easement or anything like that. So to me, this is like a junk property. So all that's doing right now is it's skewing our price per acre, right? So we're at 8,400 right now. Let's see what it goes to once I delete this. 8,605, perfect. Now let's check out these. So actually one thing I do sometimes too is sometimes these become duplicates. I forgot to do this. So let me go just check to see if there's any duplicates. Okay. Just by address. Okay. 5 duplicates. Good. Okay. So get rid of those. Perfect. I'm just making sure I didn't delete any ones that my averages are on. Good. Okay. Now I'm going to go through here. Let's check this one. Why did this sell for 11,000 an acre versus the other ones did not? Okay. So already I can tell why it sold for an 11,000 an acre. It's got improvements. It's got a mobile home on it, right? That's why this one sold for more, or tiny home, whatever you want to call this. So I'm going to delete that because it's not vacant land. So it's skewing our numbers. So delete that. This is a beautiful piece of property, but you could see it's also got a mobile home on it. I'll click through the pictures. I'll check it out. Let me go read the description. See what it says. Public remarks, enchanting, 5 acres, lush, highly buildable, not in a flood zone, accessed by dirt road, RV campers, no exception, no HOA. Watershed 7 days ago. Inside a 15-acre property, property. Huh. Okay. I might keep this one on because basically the mobile home doesn't really add any value. They're not noting that it's on here. It's kind of just there. So I'll keep that one on. It does skew our numbers a little bit higher, but we want to get a good market average. So this 13 right here, let's see why this sold. This is just a perfect square lot. It looks like it's got some kind of on it. Come build your custom dream home. Private well, septic power exists in the property from a previous mobile home. Okay, so it looks like this is a pretty common thing, that there's an existing mobile home. They got rid of it. So now it already has all the stuff on the side, whatever. No road, no use. Yeah, Jeff says no road, no use. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll leave that one. So this is cool. It's road front. I mean, it's a 5-acre parcel. You'll own a piece of the lake. This sold for a little bit more because you're on a lakefront. So it happens. I'm going to take this off our list because it does skew our number a little bit higher. You know, if we end up mailing to property that has a lakefront property and we know it can sell for a little bit more, if they call us, we'll come up a little bit in price. But I don't want to mail an entire county based on the pricing for one piece of land that's on a lake, right? And that's kind of the same thing too with this. Actually, I'm going to delete this one too, the mobile home one. I don't want to price the whole county based on one parcel that used to have a mobile home on it, right? Or when we're just going for vacant land. So any outliers that you see, they're kind of above this deviation, above or below. Anything that's like super low or super high, that's kind of what we're looking to eliminate. This is a newer subdivision. It's a good lot. This is a builder. So we'll leave it. It's a good property. I see, let's see. Here's a 2000. Why did this sell for like nothing? This is like a little. See, same thing, no access. So get rid of it. Or this might have a deeded easement. You could kind of see like some kind of whatever, but it's also just a weird skinny lot, right? So all that's doing is landlocked, located near Vernon County. Okay. Hey, at least we know people are buying landlocked properties over here. So if we ever get any, we can sell them for dirt cheap. But it's skewing our numbers. So let's get rid of it. 15,000. Let's see what this one is. Okay. It's got something beautiful, 9 acres, less than 2 miles. I can only imagine the peacefulness of this property, sidewalk, state park. Really good. Not much. So this is, looks like they're selling the area. It's just the land, but I'm going to remove that because it is skewing all our numbers. All right, so we're at about 8,100. That looks pretty good. Let's check our Pebble pricing. Where we at with Pebble? For our Pebble price, we were at like 7,500 for the average price per acre. So we're pretty damn close. So I'm saying that's okay because when we do this, we're figuring out a market price and then we mail at like 50% of market. So $250 or $500 range it's not going to really skew the value too much. So I'm not going to like really go crazy on that. But that was just a good indicator to say, okay, are we in the right range? Now I could already see a couple in this next acreage range. That's kind of screwing our numbers up. This one sold for 40,000. I'm just going to automatically delete it because it's probably got a house on it. The rest, 4,000, 12,000. Let's see what this 12,000 sold. Same thing. This is on a lake, gorgeous property. Okay. We don't want to include that. This is a 10,000. Let's see. This is a 13,000. Okay, cool. So this is also good too. When we see this, right? This sold for a hell of a lot more than everything else, right? This sold for 13,000 an acre when the average is 6,000 an acre. Why? It's got a fence on it and it's like a nice piece of land. So that tells us like if we get a lead in that looks like that, that's probably a great lead. If they called and said, "Hey, I want to sell my property," and you look at it, you're like, "Holy crap! It's got a fence. It's got this. It's by the highway. It's by the main road. This is going to be a huge property. We love it." So that just tells us it's a really good indicator of like, okay, this is what a prime lot looks like in this market. I'm going to delete it because, like I said, I don't want to price the whole market for one good lot. And the last one, I'm going to do this. That's 10,000 an acre. This is just a nice square lot. Or not square, it's got a little jut out on the side. Public rights, cool. I'll leave this on here. It's a good lot. It's not skewing the numbers that much. So you can see the cascade, 8,000 to 6,000. So that means this next level should be somewhere around like 5,000, 4,000, something like that. Okay. Okay, so this sold for like 38,000 an acre. It's just crazy. Last sold for 850K. This looks like I don't know what the heck this is. I guess you get the lake, get everything. It's crazy. So I'm going to delete that one. And let's see where our numbers fall at. So we're at 67, goes down to 41. There you go. Perfect. This one right here, why did this sell for 1,000 an acre? Okay. Looks like landlocked. You have like, you probably have to get an easement right here. Let's see, we're at 40 acres, under 100K. I'm going to say this is probably landlocked, so I'm going to delete that. Cool. This one, that's 1800. This is just an absolutely terrible listing. Or was a terribly listed. So I will delete that property. Okay, cool. Now let's check this last range. So these are already trading pretty good, pretty relatively good. Cool. So that's pretty much our price ranges now. Anybody have questions about that stuff? Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of an art and gut, and guys, that's why you have the Redfin links there. So if something just seems off, click on it. It's like, oh crap, there's a house. Like that makes sense. It's a pond. No wonder it sold for $10.
Yeah. It's actually just a Florida sinkhole. That's why it sold for $10. It's crazy.
It's a pit. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So good. Now we have our averages. So what we're going to do now is here's our data right here. So we go over here. Here is our acreage. And I'm going to add some rows in here. I'm going to insert a row. Let's see. We're going to do average per acre, price per acre. What are we going to do? And offer price. Okay, so this is average. And then this is going to call, we're going to call this price per acre. We're going to call this market price. Market price. And then the last one we're going to call offer. Okay. Very simple now. We just take this number, copy, Command C, and then I'm going to just paste this number right here. Paste. Okay. Then I'm going to hit market price would be this number, the acreage size, times the price per acre. So that would be our market price. This means like that's the value of the property. And then we're going to price this times 0.5. What we typically mail at is like around 55% of market, because me and Jeff both know when you talk to somebody, it's really easy to get them down from 55% to 45%, right? I'd rather have them in the CRM at 55% than to mail it at 50% and then they just never call us, right? I'd rather get them in the CRM at 55%, talk to them, whatever. If everybody else in the market's pricing it at 50% and we're 55, they're going to call us first because we just have a better offer. So that's my brain and how it works. So next thing I'm going to do, if I select all these, let me just show you this. This is my Excel does this all the time. If I select all three of these, see how it adds an extra one, it counts it. 1, 2, 3, 4, it goes higher. But if I just do this one, price per acre, it doesn't count it. So I'm just going to drag this down until I get to my 10 acres or 9.9. And I'll show you next what we do for feathering pricing. First, I'm just going to add in my stuff. So I'm going to just drag this formula straight down all the way to the end for right now. If you're using Google Sheets, you could just flash fill stuff, whatever. I just use Excel because I just am a creature of habit. And Google Sheets sometimes is finicky with me. Okay, so now I'll go back to my sold data and I'll pick my next acreage range, copy this. I go here, I paste that. I'll drag this down. Pretty sure we did this to 20 acres. I'll double check it. Yep, to 20. And then this is 20 to 40. 20 to 40. And the last one, 40 to 60. Now, that's that. Cool. All right. So we're going to feather this, but first, before we go like feathering it, which means like I'm going to kind of like see how it goes from like a hard drop off. Like right here, if you have a 9.9 acre property, we'll offer you this much. But if you have a 10 acre, oh, we're going to drop it 2,000 an acre, right? Doesn't make sense. We'll feather this in and kind of like smooth this out and say like, all right, from the 9 acres, we're going to drop this price to like 7,900 and then go 7,600, 7,400, whatever. So I'll show you that in a minute. But first things first, I want to see if I'm right in the right ballpark. Okay. So what I do is I go here, I randomly just pick a property, I'll scroll through and I'll just say this one. Cool. I'm going to copy an APN. You could go wherever you feel fit. If you want to go to land ID, I go to ID land because I just like it. I go here. Let me close out some of these red fins. Create a map. Florida. Get started. Now, sometimes you'll notice when you pull APNs from Data Tree, Land Vision, wherever, sometimes they won't match up with the same APN as what they have on Land ID. So sometimes what you have to do is go back to Land Vision and then pull it from there. If you don't, if it comes up, great. If it doesn't, that's just a workaround. Or you could just use the GPS. Perfect. This one came up. Alrighty then. So here's the first parcel. I'm going to take a look at that. Now, already I look at it. I'm like, it's an all right property. It's kind of like in between two like subdivisions. So it's not like an ideal property, but for the interest of everything, I'm just going to do it. So here's the parcel in question. So I'm going to grab randomly whatever property has a street address. So if it has a house on it, it'll have a street address. And this will get me the general location. I'll go to Redfin. I'll pop this address in. Here you go. Click the map. I click nearby homes for sale. Then I go sold. Last year. All filters. Land only. Let me go back to my sheet. This is a 801. This is a 10-acre parcel. We are saying market price is 60,200. 60,620. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Redfin and I'm going to look for properties in this area that are land that sold in the last year and see if it kind of makes sense, right? So I have one up here. This is a 9-acre lot sold for 90,000. So this looks like it's got probably used to have a mobile home on it or something like that. See, it's got that pad right there. So it's probably already got septic, electric, and all that stuff. It's going to sell for a little bit more. It's also got highway frontage. Okay, so that's why it sold for a little bit more. This one's over 515. That's crazy. Let me zoom out a little further. So I'm basically just looking around in this area and seeing, did I price this right? Am I close, right? So we got a 65 right here for a 10-acre lot. We got an 81 for an 11-acre lot, but it's got an improvement. It's got some kind of little pond there. 44,000 for a 5-acre. So 44. Let me just do 45,000 divided by 5. It sold for 9,000 an acre. Okay. 9,500. So we actually, just like looking at this real quick, we actually might even be a little low on our number just based on the comps I'm seeing. I see an 84, I see a 90, I see a 95, I see a 16. I wonder why that's a 16. Junk property, I remember that one. So no, 42, about 8,000 an acre. So we might be a little low. So let me do this. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to grab another random APN. And copy this. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same thing again. So all I'm doing is just double checking my work, making sure I'm doing everything right. Because the worst thing that could happen is we send out all this mail and it's all wrong, right? And this is something like after you guys price everything, this is what me and Jeff are doing, right? We're going to go back and we're going to analyze everything and make sure it's all good and it's priced right and all that stuff. So I'm just showing you guys because this is something that you're going to want to do before you send it to us and say, hey, this is great. We did it. But then we look at it and be like, no, it's way off. All right, so nearby homes for sale. Try it again. Come on there, sweet cheeks. There we go. Okay, cool. Filters sold. You could also like zoom out, kind of find the area, do your thing, whatever. I don't know. I just find this a little easier. Okay, so just zoom out a little bit. All right, so we got a this immediate area. We got a 55, a 65, a 90 for 10 acres. That's in like a subdivision, a 42. Okay. So I'll look at this and I'll say we're offering on this one 62,000. We're saying market price is about 62. We're offering 31. So I'll look at this and I'll say, okay, we got some comps all over the place. You know, we got a 95, we got a 16, but it's a junk property, 95, which is good. 65. Cool. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, okay, we're pretty good on our pricing. I think we're close. We got some lows, we got some highs. We're kind of like right in the middle of everything. That's kind of what we're looking for, is to be right in the middle of the market average. All right. So you got some lows and some highs, some 80s, some 60s, all that. So I think we're pretty good on our pricing on the 10s. Now let's go back. Let's try our 5s. And just pick one at random, copy. This is the one. Okay. So where are we on this? This is, go here. $231.77 right in the middle. Okay, and then we're gonna go select this. $26, $40, $90. So we got a 35, we got a 69, we got a 65, we got a 40. And we are marketing, we're saying this price is about 43. Okay, I think we're pretty good. 43, we got a, for a 5 acre, we're at 43. Here's a comp right here. This is a 5 acre for 40. Okay. So that tells me that we're in a good number, right? And I'm going to go through and I would do this exact same thing for all the other, ranges. And I'll probably comp out. I try to do like 2 properties per like acreage range signs, right? Do 5 to 10, do 2 of those, 10 to 20s, do 2 of those, and just double check everything, make sure it looks good. So once I've done that, now I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, our pricing looks pretty good. So what I do here now is I'm going to start feathering this. So I'm going to look at this. We're offering 8,100 per acre for up to 9 acres. So I'll drop at my 10 acre range. I'm going to drop this to 7,800. And I don't know, make up a number, 7,854. And I'll just extend this for a few properties. And then I'll drop it again. Do 7, drop it by 200. This way, like the transition from, like the smaller to the bigger isn't as drastic.
So guys, what Dennis is showing here, like, remember the whole concept here with this type of land is the idea of, as we're buying in bulk, we're going to get a little bit better on our pricing per acre. But as Dennis pointed out, you don't want it so abrupt that you go from 9.9 to 10 and all of a sudden there's a 2,000 per acre difference. So we want to gradually tier that a little bit, and it will invoke a response from the people we send it to.
Exactly. So well at articulating yourself. All right, 6854. So, and then you just kind of do this through the same thing. I drop about like $200 and then go down and feather it through a few more properties and just kind of keep going until you hit. And there's no like, I'm going to do 6, I'm going to do 7. It's just kind of do it. Do it by feel. 6-4. There is probably some formula you could select all these and hit this range and sort this out. I'm sure there's a formula for it. I just don't know. I'm not good. I'm not that good with Excel. If you guys know it, share it to me, or don't share it to me and just be a rock star and just be like, how good I'm doing this.
They usually finish up my work in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're probably
tell
like
me how they do it, and then they hang out for like 2 hours. CJ does that constantly. Like he's just wrapped up. He's just done. Not really. They're all awesome. I've made them do so many different things. They're all really versatile. So I appreciate having them on my team as long as I have for 3 years. Holy crap. MJ, how long you been working for me now? Can't even count that high. 5 years.
Official.
I think you're right. Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
Getting 5, I think.
Wow.
I need to get like a plaque or something for you. I need to send that to you.
A plaque
MJ got
of
me-
appreciation.
Yeah. MJ got my first big land deal to a developer. CJ got the second one, and then
Nice.
Jay-Z has managed to hook.
Yeah,
Illinois
I
a bunch
know.
of the
Don't.
vacant lots.
Yeah, don't rub it in, Jeff. I know.
Oh, I love it. All right, so I'm just doing the same thing here. 5,000. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, it's really, this is not that hard of a task. It's honestly, it's pretty easy. It just takes a little time and, doing all this stuff and all. Listen to some music, hang out, do your thing.
Watch some Netflix, Stranger Things.
Exactly. As long as you could totally do that, just make sure the data is good. All right. So now I'm done. So 41. So after, when I hit the 40 to 60, it's the same number. So what I'm going to do is just like, I'll do 40s as that, and then I'll gradually decrease this as it gets a little bit bigger, just because it's like buying, when you go to buy water at a concert, it's like $6. But when you go to Costco, you could buy an entire case for like, for $4. So it's the same thing with land. If you're buying a lot of land, you get it for cheaper. So as we get bigger, I just reduce this price a little bit. $36.
So CJ, I want you to, have the full picture in mind. What, Jay-Z and MJ will have been doing is, pulling data, scrubbing it. So we're getting, the right opportunities with access that can be utilized. What Dennis is showing here is the pricing, because the letters we're sending out are going to have this price offer on it. Like they know what we're offering them, right?
Yeah.
So that by the time it gets to you, it's someone who not only says they're interested, but they're interested at the number we quoted them.
There's
Exactly.
a number already. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it gets to you, your conversation should be, verifying who they are. And so I don't want you to feel like you're in for this negotiating fight. You know, you're going to push them a little bit, but it's not going to be this bloodbath back and forth.
And the nice thing too is the way we do this, we send out a blind offer. They get the offer, they're looking at it, they're like, okay, cool, I like this offer. 40, $100,000 for my 60-acre parcel. Let me call up Dennis. Okay. They call up, we have live answering service, answer it. So you guys aren't taking the call live, which is great. Live answering service takes the call. They fill out a form. All that form gets inputted into our Pebble, into our CRM. And then now we have 24 hours to call them back, right? That's what we tell them. Say, hey, we're going to call you back within 24 hours. Perfect. Then that gives you a whole day, 24 hours, to look at the property, comp it out, take a look, make sure it looks like a viable property, make sure all that stuff is good. Boom. Then when you call them, you're very well informed. Okay. Once you're well informed, then you can have that conversation. The conversation's easy. It's like, hey, Betsy, I'm just talking to you about your property and, so-and-so, you gave us a ring. Just wanted to follow up and see where you're at. And they're like, yeah, we loved your offer. It's great. I have to sell I need a car or whatever. So selling this land is perfect. Cool. Then you take a look at it. You're just going to say, okay, how are you the owner? How did you come across the property? There's a whole thing. Like, we'll give you checklist of items to go through and check off. And then once you know all that stuff, then just say, okay, good. Everything looks good to us. We could send over a purchase agreement if you're all good. If you're like, yeah, all good. Okay, great. We send over a purchase agreement. We're under contract. It's done. I've had deals that it takes me less than 8 minutes to go from first contact to sending a contract. Done. Without any negotiating, questioning, nothing. Simple, that easy. So these deals are much different than houses. They're not it's not emotional. It's not all that stuff. You're not worrying about like, oh, my sister's aunt's cousin's going to be living there and I have to worry about them moving out and none of that. So you'll really appreciate it. Okay. So that is it. So this is what would basically come about. We would have this stuff all here. We'll just have to figure out the right sequencing. Actually, before I move on, anybody have any questions about this whole data set, pricing it, pulling it, anything like that?
Yeah. So I think generically, Dennis, MJ and Jay-Z, I think all three of them have, we have talked about it a little bit ourselves. They've watched some training videos or getting into it. Obviously, as they actually start clicking the buttons, we'll have more questions. We'll draft out the SOPs some more. But guys, Dennis, I really appreciate you for showing it. Guys, really the money is made in all that upfront work. That's where it's made. And then CJ is the guy who's going to seal the deal, give them the confidence that we actually can execute, button all that up for us. So yeah, all this upfront work, it's going to take a while, but that's what allows us to do this.
Yep. And if we don't get it, we'll blame CJ.
Obviously.
This guy?
Obviously.
This guy's gonna get them? Oh my god. You sure, Jeff?
Oh yeah, blame's going entirely on you.
Yep.
Oh, the blame's gonna go in
It's all on you.
Alright.
It's all on you, CJ.
I
So
thought we always
I'll-
have like the number. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Dennis.
No, go ahead, bro. What's up?
No, we always have this number one rule. It's always Jeff's fault.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I don't see you're not wrong.
It's now changed to it's always CJ's fault. So
I love it. That's amazing. So, what I'm going to do is you're basically going to be working with me the next couple days, and I'll show you guys how to do pulling all this data, doing all this stuff, pricing it, and then I'll give you guys everything. You work on it, you do it, and I'll just kind of be your parrot, just check you out, make sure everything's good, and then these are the markets that we're going to be mailing to. So me and Jeff, so we're going to basically take that and then mail it, and then once the leads come in, CJ, me, and Jeff will work with you directly to teach you how to do the acquisition side of things. How to comp the properties, and me and him are actually going to get up and create a good checklist. We have one now, but I haven't refined it. Just a checklist of items that you're going to do for the pre-qualify, and then a checklist of items you're going to do at your initial call, and then a checklist for after the call is done. And it's like, taking pictures with, land ID and all that stuff. So it's pretty simple stuff. And then, yeah, so the goal here is just to price out a bunch of really good markets. We'll give you all the markets, and then I'll help you out. And then we'll say, hey, MJJZ, here's the markets. Go ahead and do this. And then you guys do this stuff. You send it to us. We fact check it. We make sure it's all good. If we have any errors or anything that we don't like, hey, this pricing seems a little off, or I don't know what happened. It looks like you pulled the data for Washington County, Montana, not Florida. I don't know what happened. Like stuff like that. We'll just, probably have to remail. So, yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's essentially the whole back end of this business is this.
Yeah.
So
Jay-Z and MJ, when we, Dennis is going to work with us, like you said. What I'd like you guys to do is when we do have that first county, I'd like you guys to work together on the first iteration, just so you're not by yourself. Work out the problems, build out the SOPs together, like we've talked about, so we can replicate it, make sure there's no bugs, kind of like how we've been doing Investor Lift and different things. And yeah, CJ, we'll do the same thing with you. So you just have everything ready to go. And that way there's, again, like you guys have been working with for a while, there's nothing I can't stand more than just guessing at stuff. There's a little bit of the art, but it's not guessing. So we'll work on that together. Yeah.
I'm excited to work with you guys too. It's going to be fun. I mean, now you get to deal with me and Jeff, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I'm not sure, but
they don't think I'm that bad. At least if they do, they're not going to say it to my face. So,
Obviously.
kind of take it at that value.
Yeah, they're definitely talking behind your back, guaranteed.
Oh, 100% they do. I absolutely know that. That's no shock.
They mock
Not
you
in
when you
this
put your
life,
cowboy
yeah.
hat on. I know it. I get it.
They only think I don't speak Tagalog. If they only knew.
Oh, I love it.
Not in this life, Jeff. Maybe some other time.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome, guys. I love this. I'm glad. Were you guys able to get like a good grasp of it? I know I went fast, but it's really not hard. It's just data. That's all it is. At the end of the day, it's just data.
Yeah. Well, here's I don't know if it's maybe a running joke within the team. Like, we don't have any questions right now, but once we get to that part, definitely we will. So
I think anybody can do it in 5 minutes, right, JC, MJ?
you can do it in 5 minutes. I know.
But can you do
You
it?
can do it in 5 minutes. Yeah, you can do it in 5 minutes. MJ will change places with you. She'll happily make that trade.
I love it. Awesome. Cool. So, Jeff, I guess tomorrow, if you guys have time, I'm down to do another county with you guys. I'm gonna save this, and then we'll figure out where we're gonna upload this stuff. Like, part of that too. Once you do a county, we're gonna have you save it to like a Dropbox, and that's where like all the data, the main data would live. And then we'll upload this into like a Google Sheet, so we all have access to it. Whatever. However, do you guys are you better with Excel, better with Google Sheets, or what do you guys like better?
We don't really have a preference, although I think Google Sheets, just for the sake of being able for anyone to access it at any time, is probably going to be our best thing. So, Jay-Z, when you log in after the huddle that MJ and Andrew and Regina and I do, you guys would team up together, get this video on YouTube, start putting together some of the SOPs, just try out a couple of things just to get some momentum. Obviously, I got to get you the logins and different things like that, but let's just start that process of getting comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then tomorrow, let me know a time, and we'll start working on another county together. And you guys will do it, and I'll just say, okay, do this. I'll just show you how to do it. And then after you do that, once you've done a few, then I'll just give you a list of counties, and basically you upload it, create the sheet in Google Sheets, and then put a link in that sheet. And then I'll create like a little sheet that you guys could put everything in, and it'll have like a box that will say like county, this, that, number of data, checked by Jeff or DJ, whatever, and then have the link to the sheet. And if it's checked and it's good to go, Then we take that and we upload it into Pebble, which is another whole thing we'll have to show you eventually how to do. That's like Rob and Regina's side of the things. That's what they'll be doing. And yeah, then we'll upload it into Pebble, send it to the mail house, and have a good time.
Awesome. So
Cool.
this will be good. Yeah, we should meet probably, guys. Let's plan to meet at the same time tomorrow. And Dennis, this will be a cool little saga. We show everybody like, onboarding working a team together, and we should definitely do some, monthly updates like progress and how everybody's feeling and what we've done.
Yeah, I do these lives every single Wednesday, and it's just about updating our business. Because we did a 90-day challenge with Sumner, and ever since then, every Wednesday I go live on his channel, my channel, and just update our business, which I really didn't do today. But basically, in our business, we have 6 properties currently that we're going to be closing on in the next. We have 3 that we closed on, 3 more coming. So we'll have 6 total that'll be listed with a total pipeline profit of like 250K plus. No, 300K plus, I think, total pipeline. All from like, I think $15,000 ad spend. So it's a pretty crazy business.
Yeah.
And now obviously you can see, guys, we're onboarded. Well, we're teaching 3 VAs, assistants that work with us. Actually, they've worked with Jeff for years. We're teaching them how to do the data side, and then also we're going to teach them how to do all the other stuff in the business. So that this way we could streamline it and focus on growing and stuff like that. So what me and Jeff are doing right now is there's a couple counties that he wanted to hit, counties that I wanted to hit. So we're like, hey, let's just partner up. Cool. I have this, you have that. Let's just partner up and just have a good time. So that's basically what we're doing. So we're going to hit a couple counties together. I think we're sending out like 11,000 pieces of mail together on like a trial basis and seeing how the leads come in. Based on our KPIs, we know that should get us about 3 closed contracts. And then after that, we should see, what happens next. So cool. Alrighty. This has been fun.
Let's go do some damage.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure, if you guys want, check out this 5 steps to multiple 6 figures. Something together. I'll drop it again right here. Definitely check this out. This is just a quick 30-minute video. It just shows you the steps that you got to take to basically build this business. And if you want to learn more, definitely check down below. Reach out to Sumner, and I'll see you guys on the inside. Later.